So today we are going to be talking about why you are here at Camp Grimes. This is Clint Long,
I'm Alan Kiger.
and this is going to be our first session of online training for Camp Grimes. Hopefully, most of you were just interviewed and found out that you're going to be working at one of the best places on earth to be at this summer. So we're going to be talking about what does it mean now? Why are you at Camp Grimes? Why are you a staff member here? Or why you should be at Camp Grimes as a staff member. So you were just hired. Now, what does that mean? What do you think that means, Alan? Now that these scouts or
I got
scouters
a
were just
summer
hired.
job.
Right. But is this more than a summer job?
Yes,
How
much,
so?
much more. You now have a chance to make a difference in somebody's life. As you've probably heard me said, if you've worked for me for a few years at camp, scouting will help you become a better person. And it's our job as camp counselors to make our scouts become better people, pass along our knowledge. Think back to when you were a scout at camp for the first time. Who was that one scout that made you want to either continue in scouting, become an Eagle Scout, or become a camp staff member? Think about that for a minute. What did that person do that made you feel that way? Okay, so now that you've thought of that person and why they made you feel that way, I want you to think about this. The 5 weeks we're at camp, we're going to have about 1,300 campers. Hopefully, many of them will look at you that same way. And when they leave on that Saturday morning of their last day of camp, they're going to want to continue in scouting. They're going to want to work towards Eagle, and they're going to want to come be on camp staff one day.
I think that's a great way to think about being on camp staff, Alan. And that's definitely the attitude that we want to have as camp counselors this year. How can we impact the lives of others to make someone else's scouting experience and life a little better? So you were thinking, oh, to work at scout camp, duh. Just to work, maybe to work a job. Well, scout camp is much more than just a summer job or a job in general. It's one of the best jobs you'll ever have. It's one of the most rewarding jobs you'll ever have. I've met some of my best friends, some of my closest friends through summer camp.
Well, thank you, Clint.
Alan is one of my best friends. I do have to admit that. But, working at Camp Grimes means that you're making a unit's week at camp positive and meaningful. What are some ways how does that look, Alan? How do we help units at camp?
Well, it starts on Sunday afternoon when they get there. You greet them positively, real enthusiastically, make sure that they understand we're glad they're there. And then you give them a tour of a lifetime when you take them to either go to the health checks, go to swim checks, go to the dining hall introductions, go to have their picture taken, whatever. You're the first person from camp that they're going to meet when they get there that Sunday. And remember, you only have one chance to make a good first impression.
That's right. And one of the biggest things that I look for when I roll up to a new camp is a staff member smiling at me, because a smile means a lot. If you have a positive attitude, then that unit's going to have a positive attitude.
Yeah, if you look like you don't want to be here, they're going to go, "Why am I here?"
Yeah.
They're not going to want to be here. So
Exactly.
enthusiastic and smile.
Yeah. Enthusiasm goes a long way. It's very
Yes.
contagious. We help troops work. Part of being at scout camp is for troops to come and to learn how to be a better troop. They get to, the boys get to learn how to function on their own. Remember, scouting is boy led, adult supervised. So we're trying to help these troops become boy led troops or continue being boy led troops and develop those leadership skills. So we provide them opportunities through conservation projects, through service projects around camp, through uh, patrol activities and intertroop activities such as games, maybe knot tying relays, things of that nature that help them become better troops. And that goes on to our next point, providing program. What's a good definition for program, Alan? What is program?
Fun.
Program is, he is exactly right. Program is fun. Everything we do at camp should be fun. Whether it's learning with a purpose, that's fun. Whether it's playing, that's fun. Whether
That's
it's,
more fun.
that is more fun. Whether it's relaxing, whether it's hiking, whether it's fishing.
I like the relaxing part.
I do too. Everything we do should be fun, and that all goes into the program. The program is what we do as a camp to make scouts have an impact and walk away with a positive experience.
Our job as camp counselors is to help troops supplement their year-round programming. And with the new scheduling process that we've put in place, we're going to be able to do that even better because scouts are going to be able to complete more merit badges and they're going to leave on Saturday having earned more merit badges than they've been able to in the past. Or at least they'll have the opportunity to.
Bottom line, program is important. It's important to what we do as a camp. It's important to what we do at Scouts.
And it's fun.
And it's fun. So we all have our part to play. As we see here, program per staff provide the fun. They provide the fun. We have adventure as well. What are some adventures we have at our camp?
ATV Dave, that's an adventure all in himself.
That's right. Scouts are going to walk away with a lot of memories.
Cowboy action.
Cowboy action.
How many of them have ever shot a stagecoach shotgun?
I've not.
Stagecoach shotgun is about 2 inches from being illegal. Did you know that?
I did not know that. I learned something new today.
Yes, yes. But that's two of the big items that we have. Plus, we're one of the few camps that has a lake as big as Lake Calhoun, where we have a slalom course for skiing. We can do all the wakeboarding, water skiing, tubing. We can do those things because we have a huge lake, and those are three big advantages that our camp has.
And that creates a lot of memories.
Yes, it does.
Creates a lot of memories. And it creates a lot of opportunities for our scouts as well. That's something we can really sell about Camp Grimes.
And you know what some of those opportunities are?
Fun.
Yeah, they're fun, but they are an opportunity to either learn and or demonstrate skills.
I think one of the biggest things that scouting tries to do is to give everyone some skills in every area of life. And I think that's kind of what we try to accomplish at camp by offering so many different aspects of program. Let's think about it. How many merit badges or skills-based programs do you think we offer at Camp Allen?
At least 60.
At least 60. Think about that. 60 different individual skills that a scout, if they come 4 or 5 years, can take home with them and have for the rest of their life. That's an impact. That's an impact. And these skills lead to advancement.
And that's why the Scoutmasters are bringing their scouts.
Exactly. Advancement is passing off those skills, whether it be for first class, whether it be for star, whether it be for life, or even eagle. Merit badges are a part of advancement. Skills such as knot tying are part of advancement. It's all how scouting is set up to work to reach that end goal of being an Eagle Scout.
But to reach that end goal, these skills have to be taught and demonstrated properly. You can't just sign off on a scout's advancement because you like them. They have to demonstrate an ability to do a particular skill that is involved, or skills that are involved in a particular merit badge. For instance, shotgun. If they can't shoot the gun and hit the target, they're not going to get the merit badge. And our shooting sports folks are not going to sign them off. Now, what they will do is they'll let them shoot till their fingers fall off on Friday afternoon trying to qualify. Because advancement is important, but advancement the right way and not just advancing a scout to advance that scout for advancement's sake. That is not acceptable, and we do not operate that way.
No, that is not why we are here at camp. We are not a camp to be a merit badge factory. You know, Alan, there's a sad thing is that a lot of camps exist to be merit badge factories.
Yes, they do.
A lot of camps exist to push kids through advancement so they get their eagle at 13 and 14 years old.
I was questioned one time by a scoutmaster He wanted to know why I didn't allow more merit badges to be taught at camp. And I looked at him and I said, "Sir, my job is to supplement your scout program, not be your scout program." End of discussion.
Yeah. We are going to take lots of steps, and me and Alan, as the camp leadership, want to be sure that our camp is not known as a merit badge factory, but as a place that advancement can be done correctly. We're a place where scouts come and they walk away with the skills, not walking away saying that, oh, I got to experience the skill, but they passed off that skill. They earned that skill. They met the requirement. They weren't merely signed off. So our job as program staff, for those that are teaching classes, is to review, is to make it fun, make them have adventures and memories all through skills, so that way they can advance in the scouting program. So they just don't stay at one place forever. Now let's talk about operations staff, because this is the other type of staff that we have at camp. Operations staff provide safety, like our health officer. Her job,
Love me some Melinda Cobb.
yep, her job is to make sure that scouts are safe. Well, and really, Alan's job as the camp director is to make sure scouts are safe. It's my job to make sure as the program director that the program is delivered. And it's Alan's job to oversee everything, but really his main job, the buck stops with him. The buck stops with him. Wouldn't you agree, Alan?
I would.
So his job is to provide safety, but he really does that through Melinda, the health officer. She's the one that's going to be riding around camp, looking for not only scouts that may need physical help as far as physical safety goes, but is there any unsafe conditions around camp, things of that nature. So those are that things. Then we have other staff members as well. But
one of the things that I have done during the off season is I have sat down with some folks in healthcare, doctors, nurses, and we have redone some of our protocols, our doctor instructions, our emergency preparedness plans, and you're going to hear about some of those probably during the two staff weekends that we have up at Camp Grimes, because those are easier to talk about and to teach in person than they are within a video. But scouting is very, very safe. You're hearing a lot of things nowadays about scouting. And let me address that elephant real quick if I could. This council is not going out of business. The bankruptcy that's going forward right now involves the National Council. It does not involve the Mecklenburg County Council or any of the other 260 local councils around the country. Our funding is our own funding. We raise our own money. Our property is ours. We own it, not national. So we are going to be conducting ourselves just like we always have. And because of all the youth protection guidelines that we have and that you will be going through in some subsequent trainings, we are a safe organization. We are as safe as we can be. That's why we have Two Deep leadership. That's why we have the separation of female and male scouts in a campsite. That's why we have shooting sports directors that have to have certain professional training. Same with aquatics, same with cope and climbing. Okay? We have to make sure, and it's my job to make sure that as a council, we are providing a safe camp, and that's why there's also going to be an active shooter protocol that we're going to be enacting again this summer. Some of it I can tell you about, some of it I can't for various reasons. But just know that I'm taking very, very seriously and very many steps to make sure that Camp Grimes is a safe environment, not just for our scouts and our scout leaders, but for you, the staff.
And I think that pretty much covers safety. We have staff members that are operations staff that provide cleanliness to our camp, like our commissioners and our quartermasters.
Oh, I thought you were talking about people taking a shower every day.
Well, we'll talk about that in our staff uniforming training. That will be another video training that we do. But we'll talk about that maybe a little bit later in this training, because I think it goes into some of that as well. But we're still on the staff part right now. They're going around Make quartermasters and commissioners going around making sure campsites are cleaned by the troops, but they're also replacing toilet paper because we all need that TP every day. I know I do.
But you know what? They're also, right now, the ranger is going through every campsite looking for safety measures, making sure there's no trees with dead limbs. Um, we are clearing out a lot of dead trees right now up at Camp Grimes. And when you arrive there in May for our first weekend together, you're going to see a lot of trees that we have cleared out, and several trees that got cleared out for us by recent storms. But that's the other thing that our commissioner does is when he's in a campsite, not only is he looking for cleanliness, he's looking for the safety of it.
Yeah.
I guess in a way, Clint, safety factors into all of this.
It does. I think we see safety
Everything
everything we do at camp.
Even provisions. Um, when I think of provisions, I'm thinking about the way we go about providing food for staff and food for our campers. Most of you know we have to go through a process of having an annual inspection by the county health department, and so there are a lot of things, and we never know when they're coming out. They could come out week 1, or they might not come out till week 5. But every day we have to be prepared and make sure that the provisions we're providing are not only are they safe, but they're healthy, and they're provisions that our scouts and staff would like to eat.
Right.
This year we're going even farther with our food service people have to also have a special certification called Safe Serve. I'm proud to tell you that all of our ladies that work in the dining hall have that certification already because of the fact that it's also required in the state of North Carolina for school operations. And since each of our dining hall folks work in a school in McDowell or Burke County, they already have that certification. So that's one thing we don't worry about. And I've had some meetings with some professional, I even sat down with a chef. So we've got some changes with provisions, and again, that falls under my job to make sure that all of that is done.
And our operations staff, their bottom line is to provide a home for the week. Because when scouts come, we want to think about our camp not being our camp, the staff's camp. We want to think about it being everyone's camp. We want to welcome them to their home for the week. It's our home for the summer. We need to treat it like our home by keeping it clean. But we want to welcome them and have the idea that this is a home they're going to spend the week at.
Exactly.
And do you want to walk into a dirty home or a home that has food that somebody scraped off the floor and put on your plate or that's not cooked right?
Nasty.
That would be nasty. So our operations staff provide a home. So let's talk about how you're to conduct yourself while you're here at Camp Grimes as a staff member.
That's easy.
How is that easy?
Everything you do, before you do it, you ask yourself, if I do this, am I obeying the Scout Oath and Law? And this is something you can do in your everyday life. You don't just do it at camp. If your conduct leaves you trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent, then you've made the right decision. If it violates any of those, then you might want to reconsider the decision you just made.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure when they get their staff contract, it's going to say in there to abide by the Scout Oath and Scout Law.
It does, and there's also a code of conduct that each of you will have to sign before camp starts and will be placed in your employee file.
Yep. So just know that we don't have many rules at camp besides following the Scout Oath and Scout Law as a staff member. Now, there's some other things in there. There's some other procedural things that we'll follow. But as far as your day-to-day behavior, I don't think nothing can be better said than following the Scout Oath and Scout Law. Would you agree, Alan?
I would agree.
So let's talk about how the Scout Oath applies. The Scout Oath tells us to be physically strong and mentally strong. Well, how does that look now that you're a staff member at camp? Well, you need to be in good health. We've already taken one step to be sure that you're in good health. And I hope that all of you have set up an appointment with your doctor to get your annual health record filled out, parts A, B, and C. And remember, C must be signed by a physician.
And if you're under 18, it must also be signed by your parent.
So be sure that you have that appointment set up. This is your reminder that you need your health form when you show up for your first day at camp, which will be the staff weekends. We need your health form May the 1st when you show up at camp. And if you don't have it, the health officer's not going to be happy, and Alan's not going to be happy. The health officer and Alan have the right to kick you off of the property for not having your health form. So be sure that you have that in. Being physically strong also means you're clean cut. No, we're not saying you can't have a beard. But
you should already have it, gentlemen. If you're going to have a beard, you should already have it when you get to camp. Do not start one on June the 14th.
Nope, do not. So, but gentlemen that do have a beard when they come to camp, or any type of facial hair, it must be well kept while you're at camp. That means cut, washed, no food hanging out of it, things like that. We are supposed to be model examples. For example, you guys are going to be probably at some point helping out in the dining hall this summer, serving food. Would you want someone with stuff in their beard serving your food if you went to Burger King or Bojangles?
That's a lovely visual.
Yeah, that makes me kind of queasy thinking about it. So think about those things. Before you come to summer camp, you're going to be there for 5 weeks. Get a haircut.
Exactly. And as far as jewelry, guys, I don't really care if you wear an earring as long as it's a stud. No dangle earrings for guys, please. And young ladies, if you're going to wear earrings, make sure they're not going to be earrings that are going to get in the way and cause you to get hurt.
There you go. Remember, a lot of what we do goes back to safety. And you're expected to be physically strong because, let's face it, you're going to be doing a lot of walking this summer at camp.
Although we've cut down on some of that.
That's true. You'll hear more about that in other videos, and when you get to staff weeks, or when you came to interviews, we might have told you about it. But you're going to be doing a lot of walking. You'll be doing some lifting. If you're in the aquatics, you'll be doing a lot of swimming. So I mean, there's a lot of demand on you. If you're in coping climbing, there's a lot physically associated with that as well. I think there's not a job at camp that's not physically demanding. Would you agree?
I would agree, except maybe the camp director.
Yeah, that's pretty not physically demanding job.
Yeah, it's not physically strenuous job.
Yeah. But I think this is very important, Alan. You need to sleep.
I do?
Yes, you do. Alan, are you yourself when you don't sleep?
Nope.
No. Am I myself when I don't sleep?
Nope.
So, in order to be your best, to be enthusiastic, to be ready to go every day, you need to sleep. No staying.
Awake, alive, enthusiastic.
Yep.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
That's okay. So,
we'll be talking later about curfews, and there's going to be one, and it's going to apply to everybody similar to last year, and we will be talking about that at a later time.
Yep. So, mentally strong means using good judgment, making the right decision.
So much I could say here, but will not.
Yep. Having an open mind, what does that look like?
Having an open mind means being open to trying something a different way.
And what's one way you can be alert?
When you can be alert,
Or
fire. No, that's a bad example to use at Camp Grimes.
Yes.
Fire. Be alert when kids are around, and be alert when if you see a scout alone by it themselves, find out why. Be alert for a scout that may be in a one-on-one situation with an adult. We don't ever allow that. Just for your own safety, be alert for snakes, and be alert for things that could harm you in any way.
Also, you're not going to be alert if you don't sleep. So sleep.
It always goes back to sleep and fun.
Sleep, fun, safety.
Exactly.
So, how can you be a leader at camp? Because everyone's a leader at camp. Would you agree, Alan?
I would. Should be.
So, set the example. Set the example. I think that we can pretty much stop at that right there.
Yep.
Be the scout or be the staff member that you saw when you were a scout.
The one that impressed you.
That's
not
important.
Not the one that you didn't.
Right. Be enthusiastic always. And if you can't be enthusiastic, fake it. There's lots of times that I wake up on camp, and we all have a bad day now and then. It's not sunshine and roses every day, is it, Alan?
Nope. My favorite saying is "fake it till you make it."
Yep. So sometimes you just got to put a smile on your face when you walk out the door. We'll talk more about Disney when we do our customer service module, but I definitely think uh, that we're performing every time we step out of our staff area. It's like we're at a show. We need to respect others. That means respecting each other's staff members and respecting the camp property, the things that we see at camp.
Treat others as you expect to be treated.
Exactly. Positive outlook goes without saying. Discipline. I think there's something very important that we can say about discipline, and that's to be on time.
Yes.
Be on time. How can you be on time? You can own a watch.
Or we can live by the Tom Coughlin theory. Is if a meeting is at 10 o'clock and you're there at 10 o'clock, you're 5 minutes late.
Yep.
Just saying.
Early is on time is late, and late is inexcusable. At my last camp, as many of you may know, this is my first summer at Camp Grimes, but at my last camp, I required every staff member that worked under me to own a watch and wear it at all times. Not a cell phone, okay? A bona fide watch, okay? They must wear it at all times. So, we don't want to have to get to that point, do we, Alan?
No, we do not.
No, we don't. So, and what does this do? This encourages others to perform well. When you're disciplined, when you have a positive outlook, when you are enthusiastic, it really goes a long way. It helps the whole morale of the camp. You're going to have administrative details and functions to do as well.
Details, details, details.
Yeah, you're going to be asked to keep records in your classes that you're teaching, about the materials that you use, and other things as well.
And we'll talk more about record keeping in a later module.
Yeah. You got to calmly handle situations. If someone comes running up to you and says, "We have a scout over here that has cut his thumb while he was whittling on a stick," I don't think that's your license to go running around camp and screaming your head off. I don't think that would be an appropriate reaction to that. So you must calmly handle situations. Know what to do. We'll have a whole training physically when we're all at Camp Grimes that's going to tell us about how we handle emergency situations. And it's not running around screaming like our heads are going to fall off. So you must be able to calmly handle situations. And you have to inspire confidence in those around you. That means you're confident yourself, that you know the answer or know someone that knows the answer.
Yep. If a scoutmaster asks you a question, don't make up the answer. If you don't know it, say, "I'm not sure. I'll find out and get back to you." And then go find me or Clint and find out and get an answer that you can then take back to that scoutmaster.
Yeah.
That'll go a long way versus you telling them something, making it up, and it not being right.
Let's talk a little bit now about how our staff is organized and the chain of command, the COC, as we like to say. The camp director is the ultimate authority on camp. I will let him speak more to that since he is the camp director.
Basically, my job as camp director is to make sure that everything is ready to go day one. That we're ready for our national camp appraisal from the Southern Region folks, that we've got adequate staff, that payroll is ready, that we've got proper food planned out, things like that, that all of our areas are ready to go. You've got all your necessary materials that you need to run a successful program in your area. All of that is done before we get to camp. It has to be. especially this year, just because we're in a condensed time frame, um, because of when we're able to do our staff trainings. So then that pushes down, you see a thing there called support staff. Some of that is some folks that I have here at the office that help me with inputting different things. Okay? Also, it deals with Clint. Now, when we get to camp and camp actually starts, my job kind of changes. My job then becomes the face of the camp to where, in the manner that if there's issues or problems that are more than program related, they are mine to deal with.
Such as not enough food in the dining hall.
Water goes, we run out of water because the tower, electricity at the tower went out, or something like that. But if it's an area issue as far as you need something, or if you're having an issue with a staff member, then if you're a staff member, you go to your area director, you go to Clint. Now, one thing I don't want any of us doing is we will not discipline scouts. Okay? If you have a problem with a scout, you let your area director know. Your area director then will come to Clint, and either Clint or I will then have a conversation with that scoutmaster. Now, in the same vein with that, I will tell scoutmasters on Sunday night when I meet with them, do not discipline my staff. That if they have a problem with you, they are to come see me, and then working through Clint, I will deal with that.
Yep.
Okay, so basically I tell scoutmasters and you area directors that have been there before and been at this meeting, you know what, that I tell them, don't discipline my staff won't discipline your scouts. Fair enough? That's our staff org chart. But our success does not start at the top. In this structure, the success of this camp starts with you, our program staff. Because you're the people, the ground level, you're making the action happen.
Yep. Our job as camp leadership is to give you everything that you could possibly need to make your job fun. And if your job is fun and you enjoy what you're doing, the scouts are going to enjoy what they're doing. And that's what keeps scouts coming back year after year. So, as we wrap this up, we have a few things that we want to say about to continue to our conversation about why are we here. We've went over many different areas on camp. Would you agree,
Yes.
Alan? We've talked about a lot of different things. Some of these we'll revisit and go more in depth about. Others, this may be the first and only time that you hear about them in this module. But our purpose is to make sure that SPLs and adult leaders have all they could ever need for a week at camp. Would you agree?
Yes.
We are customer driven. Our scouts and our adult leaders are customers. Okay? But ultimately, the customer is also the parents that are choosing to send these kids to camp in the summer. So we have three customers: our scouts, our adult leaders, and their parents.
And I would argue there may be a fourth.
Really?
Our donors.
You have a point.
People that without their donations to scouting, we wouldn't have things like our new dining hall, or we wouldn't have the new fence we have at both the rifle range and the aquatics area. Things like that.
Yeah. So that's our purpose. Your job is to help us fulfill our purpose as a camp. One of the ways that we're going to operate camp this summer is by being ethical. Now, there's a definition to that word, but here you see it on the screen being used as an acronym. We're going to go through this real quick to wrap up our training.
Oh, you're going to make me do the first one.
Of course, this is yours.
Ethical. Truth be known, I actually stole this from a Tractor Supply store over up around Asheville when we were looking at getting a new tractor for camp. But bureaucracy is our Achilles heel. What does that mean? I have no idea. But you know what? I think sometimes bureaucracy gets in the way of a lot of things. We let things like, that's not the way we've done it in the past. Things like that, we let them get in our way. Don't let stuff like that, or don't let taking a shortcut because you think a scout knows or scout did something, don't let that determine that you're going to pass him or her off. Be ethical in that decision.
Yep. And we have to work as a team.
That's right.
We're all a team. And even though there is a definite organization, as we've talked about, there's a chain of command, there is a pecking order. I like to think of us all, even though that Alan is the camp director, I'm the program director, we're your boss, we're all on the same level here. We're all on the same playing field. We all have the same job. We're all on the same team, and that's making a positive impact on youth lives that are in the scouting program, and making sure we're fulfilling our purpose, making sure that adult leaders and SBLs have all they could ever need for a week of scout summer camp. So it takes us all to do it. Do not think because you don't have the title of an area director or you've not been there for 6 years that you are less important than any other person at camp. Everyone has equal importance at camp.
I'm going to combine the next two, honesty and integrity, for the H and the I. Do what you say you're going to do. And remember, your reputation is the only thing you really have. So you want to do all you can to maintain your integrity and your reputation. You want to keep it spotless.
Yeah.
And so to do that, if you say you're going to do something, you do it.
That's right. We've already talked about a little bit about the customer, but the customer is why we're here.
That's the only reason we're here.
The money that comes from your pay that you're going to have in your paycheck, which that's one of the perks of being at camp, is that you do get a paycheck for what you do. Would it be possible if we didn't have scouts at our camp?
No.
The customer, the scout, is at the center of everything we do. Every decision that me and Alan make, every decision that you make, should have the scout in mind.
And A is for attitude. It should probably be, I should probably add there that it's a positive attitude. Because just like the engine that never could, till it did. Don't ever tell me you can't do something. Especially if you haven't tried. Think through it, work it out, and I promise you, you'll figure out a way to do it if you have the right attitude.
Yeah. And if you don't know how to do something and you think through it and you say, I really don't know what to do, don't be afraid to ask someone else.
The only dumb question is the question never asked.
That's right.
I learned that in college. See, I did learn something at Carolina.
There you go. And our last letter, L, loyalty. That's something that we earn every day. That kind of goes back to our honesty and our integrity, our reputation. If we're honest and we act with integrity, if we keep the customer at the center, if we have a great attitude, if we work as a team, that's going to create loyalty by our customer. And also, we should act with loyalty as well. We should be loyal towards each other. That goes back not only being ethical to our customer, the acronym ethical, but also employing this acronym with how we treat our fellow staff members as well. Me and Alan are going to use this acronym and how we interact with you guys, our staff, but you should use it with inter-staff interactions as well. So that concludes our first online training session. Why you are here. We've covered a lot, but I think this is sometimes one of the most glossed over training sessions, but it has so much to do. There's a lot in why we are here. So we look forward to seeing you guys our first staff weekend at camp.
Is there a test? Do we have to take a test now?
We do have to take a test.
Oh.
Yeah. You'll have to take a test. You'll see that link in the email that you got with this video in it. So be sure that you take that as well. That way you earn credit for the test. You got to remember, you got to earn credit to get your paycheck.
And to show us that you listened to this interview, make sure when you send the test back to Clint that you include the word ethical. Because this way we know you watched the training.
Very good, Alan.
Thank you. I come up every now and then.
Yeah, you do. Well, we look forward to seeing you guys at camp. Got to go to Grimes.
Boom!